child my cheating wife is having isn't mine, so I set the perfect trap. My wife and I have been married for 14 years. We met in college, fell in love quickly, and built what I thought was a solid life together. We have 2 kids, a daughter who is 12 and a son who is 9. I worked hard to provide while my wife stayed home after our first was born. It was a mutual decision, and one I never resented. I trusted her completely. That trust started cracking a few months ago when I noticed her mood shifting. She became short with everyone, especially the kids. She snapped over small things and cried randomly. I thought maybe she was stressed, so I tried to be supportive. I asked her multiple times if everything was okay, and she always said she was fine. Then my daughter came to me one evening looking nervous. She told me she had been keeping a secret because her mother made her promise not to tell. She said that for months, a man had been coming over on Saturdays when I was at work. Her mother called him her special friend and bribed the kids with toys and treats to keep quiet. My daughter said she knew something was wrong and finally worked up the courage to tell me. I stayed calm for her sake, but inside I was falling apart. That night I could not sleep. The next day I ordered hidden cameras and had them shipped to my office so no one at home would see. I set them up when my wife went out with her friends. Within the first week I had all the evidence I needed. The man was someone I recognized. He was a former colleague of hers, someone she had mentored years ago before she left her job. He was about a decade younger than her. I watched footage of them together in my own living room while my kids were at school. I felt sick. I told my sister everything and showed her the footage. She admitted she had seen my wife at a bar once getting close with a man who was not me, but did not say anything because she was not sure. She felt terrible for not telling me sooner. I told her it was not her fault. Together we came up with a plan. I bought a GPS tracker and hid it in my wife's car. The next time she said she was going out with friends, my sister and her husband followed the signal. She drove 20 miles past her usual spot to meet him at a restaurant. My sister recorded them from the parking lot. He kept rubbing her stomach while they talked. That confirmed what I already suspected. She was pregnant, and it was not mine. We had not been intimate in months because she always had an excuse. I spent the next few days pretending everything was normal while I planned my next move. I told my wife I had a business trip coming up and would be gone for 5 days. She barely hid her excitement. I packed a bag and left the house, but I did not go far. I stayed with my sister and monitored the cameras from her guest room. Sure enough, the first night I was supposedly gone, he came over. He walked into my house like he owned it. He sat on my couch. He ate food from my fridge. He slept in my bed. I recorded everything. On the 3rd night, I decided it was time. I told my sister and her husband to meet me at my house. I also called my wife's parents. I had always gotten along with them, and they deserved to know what their daughter had been doing. I asked them to come over and they agreed without questions. Everyone arrived within an hour and waited outside. My wife had no idea anyone was coming. I walked up to my own front door with 5 people behind me. I could see through the window that the lights were dim and the TV was on. I unlocked the door and stepped inside. My wife and her affair partner were cuddled together on the couch. She looked up and her face went white when she saw me. Then she saw her parents standing behind me. She jumped up and started stammering. I stayed calm and told her I knew everything. I told her I had footage of every visit he made to our home. I told her I knew she was pregnant and that it was not mine. I told her that her parents were here because they deserved to see who she really was. Her affair partner tried to leave, but my brother-in-law blocked the door. My wife started crying and begging me to let her explain. I told her there was nothing to explain. Her mother started crying too and asked her how she could do this. Her father just stood there looking at her like he did not recognize his own daughter. My wife kept looking around the room searching for someone to defend her, but no one did. Then I told her something that made her stop crying instantly. I told her to sit down because what I was about to say next would change everything. Full story linked below.